Hi there. Welcome to church on this third Sunday in Lent. Let's worship God together, shall we? Blessed be your name in a land that is plentiful, where streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name when I'm found in the desert place. Though I walk through the wilderness, blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name. The sun shining down on me. The world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name. On the road marked with suffering, though there's pain in the offering, blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. And when the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. Yes, you give and take away. Lord, you give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Sing that with me now. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Father, that is our song. And all the highs and all the lows, and all the busy and all the calm. Father, blessed be your name. You are our life. You are the one who stayed faithful through it all our story. From beginning to end, God, you never stop being faithful. And so, God, this morning, as we worship you in diverse ways, as we worship you, God, may we worship you in spirit and in truth. It's in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit we pray. Amen. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Praise him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. 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 Well, friends, this morning we celebrate the third Sunday in Lent. And as we do, we know the light gets one more candle dim. And we continue the sermon series in the life of Jacob. What is your name? Is the name of the sermon series, as Jacob wrestles with God and figures things out about himself as well as the God who made him. And this morning we're in Genesis chapter 28. So if you want to turn there with me, Genesis chapter 28. Now there are tons of songs that have been written about this passage of Scripture that we're going to be reading together today. In fact, I'm going to sing one, Nearer My God to Thee, at the end, after preaching the sermon here. But tons of songs. It's about the story of Bethel, where Jacob comes face to face with God. You may have heard the story as a kid. You may have heard the story preached multiple times. It's the story of Jacob's ladder, a story of heaven and earth colliding. And it's found there in Genesis 28. So let me read it. Genesis 28, verse 10 through 22. Now Jacob left Beersheba and went towards Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. And he dreamed that there was a ladder set up on the earth, the top of it reaching to heaven. And the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And the Lord stood beside him and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring, and your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth. And you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your offspring. Know that I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So Jacob rose early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had put under his head, and he set it up for a pillar, poured oil on top of it. He called that place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at first. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. And this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will surely give 1/10 to you. This is the word of God. Thanks be to God. I've never known such a low place. And come to think about it, I've never known such a high place either. It was the most painful journey of my entire life. Strangely, it was also the greatest joy. Banished from my family, all from my own scheming. Why do I put myself through all this scheming? I just wanted to be in control. I just wanted to finally get my father's approval, to be the greatest in the family, better than my good-for-nothing brother. But you see, my mom She talked me into the most cruel of all deceptions. I had to trick my aging father, use his own weakness against him. He couldn't see, couldn't quite tell me and my twin Esau apart. So I deceived my father, lied straight to his face, all to gain the family blessing, the right of the inheritance, all to cheat my brother Esau. See, they've rightly called me Jacob for all these many years now. Jacob, a name that means grabs by the heel. Jacob, a name that means he who supplants, overthrows, deceives. That's me. The bane of my brother and failure of my father. And that low moment of deception there in the desert place, that low moment when I stole my brother's blessing and broke my father's heart, that's what banished me to Haran. Forced to leave the family and seek refuge with Uncle Laban. Forced to wander the wilderness between here and there all alone. The no man's land, with no one in sight, for miles around. 457.1 miles to be exact. I know how far I walked, because it feels like I counted every step. But being all by myself, I traveled pretty quick. The whole thing took me nothing more than 6 days. There wasn't much to it, not even much weight. I hardly even packed the bare necessities. You see, I had to flee from my family without much notice. When Esau figured out I'd deceive him, when Esau learned that I'd stolen both blessing and wealth, well, let's just say he was less than thrilled. I left town before the sun went down, barely escaping Esau's wrath. And that first cold night in the desert, well, that was the most lonely of all. After a 5-hour sprint on the fastest camel we had, I had gotten far enough away from Esau to pause for the night and try to get some sleep. No fire, of course. I couldn't light a fire. I didn't want Esau to see me on the horizon. With such little gear, I hadn't even packed basic comforts. So I grabbed a nearby rock, made it work for a pillow. My life had turned around so quickly. It's a true wonder I got any sleep at all in that rock-bottom place. And it was the strangest thing. The dark of the night, it seems to blur together in my memory with the vivid light of that glorious dream. Verse 10. Jacob left Beersheba and went toward Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. And he dreamed that there was a ladder set up on the earth, the top of it reaching to heaven. And the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. The Lord stood beside him and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring. And your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth. You shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your offspring. Know that I am with you and will keep you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. To be honest, part of me still doubts. Was it really God speaking to me that night? I'd only ever heard stories. Never had God seemed so close. Could have easily just dreamt the whole thing up. Made up some elaborate hallucination just out of sheer desperation. Part of me still doubts. But on the other hand, I've never known anything to feel so real. And angels literally bringing the glory of God from heaven to earth. The presence of God tangibly flooding the entire desert plain. It felt like God was right beside me. And when I woke up the next morning, I didn't know quite what to do. I was terrified, to be honest. But I also felt so deep within me that I had truly encountered the God of my father Isaac, my grandfather Abraham. And if I had truly encountered this God that they both went on and on about, well, I'd be a fool not to mark the spot. So that rock I used for my pillow, I set that rock up as a pillar, something that could mark my memory when I came back home. I named the place Bethel. It's a name that means house of God. It was there at Bethel that I made a bargain. Verse 18. So Jacob rose early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had put under his head, and he set it up for a pillar, poured oil on top of it. He called that place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at the first. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, if God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. And this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will surely give 1/10 to you. If that was the condition. Notice Jacob still does not claim God as his God. I mean, at this point, Jacob knows who spoke to him that night. He knows that there at Bethel, he did, in fact, encounter the God of his father and his grandfather. But for Jacob, encounter alone was not enough. For Jacob, mere proof that God exists was not enough. If that was the condition. I mean, Jacob literally saw heaven and earth colliding. He literally felt the presence of God filling every part of him. It was so vivid. He knew it was more than a dream. He knew God had truly come to offer him grace, to offer him a new life. When the morning light broke the darkness, Jacob's heart was still as cold and hard as the rock he slept on. If God will be with me, if God will give me food and clothes, if God will bring me home again, if God will fight for me, provide for me, bless and heal and deliver me, then and only then will God become my God. That was the condition. If. I mean, even in such a low place of desperation, Jacob is still trying to take advantage of every situation, trying to get ahead, trying to put himself first. I mean, he even had the audacity of trying to grab God by the heel, trying to win the blessing and power of the Lord Most High for his own selfish gain. It's a shallow beginning, and yet it's at the very least a beginning in Jacob's long journey of knowing the Lord. But it's not yet faith, you see. It's not yet faith. It's only mere belief. Faith would be about trust. If he had faith, we'd see a relationship. If Jacob had faith, we'd see commitment. Faith is about trust. But just because Jacob believed that God spoke to him doesn't mean he actually had faith. Jacob was still trusting his own devices, still keeping God at a distance, still living his own way for his own cause. I mean, Jacob surely that morning after Bethel knew that God does exist. That's something he doubted for years of his youth. Now he knows for sure God exists, but Jacob's life does not yet belong to the King of Kings. It's all about the if. There were conditions Jacob demanded God to prove before Jacob would ever take that leap of faith. And some of us still sit in the same boat as Jacob. Some of us have never fully made the move from belief to faith. It's fairly easy to spot, actually. You see, someone with faith sees the world through God's eyes. Someone with faith views their work, their family, their every ambition and aspiration from God's point of view. Someone with faith can ride through a stormy season, strangely content in the peace of God's larger story. Someone with faith does not easily allow other commitments, other pursuits, other work, other pleasures, other activities to get in the way of their core commitment to God. Their faith is the driving force of their entire life. That's what faith is. But on the other hand, someone with mere belief may pray from time to time, but deep down, prayer is only seen as optional. Someone who believes God exists but that does not quite have faith, well, they'll go through the motions of their work-life balance, hardly even giving God a thought. And perhaps they join with Jacob, and they only seek God's presence when they finally hit rock bottom. God is simply 1 hour of one day, of 1 week, and sometimes even less. Because someone who believes God exists but doesn't quite have faith, they soon begin to see church as something good for society, but optional for them. Now, maybe once a month, once a quarter, twice a year, but anything more would start cutting into other time with other pleasures, other pursuits, other paths that we think will lead towards life, towards fully living. And most of all, someone with mere belief will often sound exactly like Jacob. If God blesses me, if God gets me health and happiness, well then and only then will God become my God. So long as things are going good in life, that kind of heart can see God and can see God at work. But when things start looking rough, when life becomes difficult, a person with mere belief will run to all the idol gods of their own pleasures and pursuits. You know, it's ironic what Jacob says when he encounters God in that rock bottom place. He says in verse 16, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not even know it." So that's the crazy part of God's grace. God is eager to meet us in that desperate place, even in those places where we least expect. God still comes to us, breaking open heaven, bringing it to earth, offering us a new way towards real life. Even when we are faithless, God remains faithful. But one thing we can't ignore: God didn't meet Jacob on that desert plain just to prove God exists. More than mere belief, God was seeking in Jacob the faith of a real relationship. "Know that I am with you, Jacob," God says in verse 15. "Know that I am faithful, Jacob. That this life in me is the only way to true salvation." God was seeking far more than mere belief. Salvation requires faith. Faith in Jesus Christ is the only way. Faith in the love of God as the only truth. Faith in the pursuit of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit as the only life. And some of us haven't quite made that leap. But today can easily be that day. Jacob still has a journey to go. And some of us need to join that journey and give it all to God. Move from mere belief to that deeper part of true faith. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit we pray. Amen. Let's sing one more hymn together. Nearer, my God, to thee. I think you'll quickly see how the story all fits together with this hymn. Nearer, my God, to thee. Nearer to thee. Even though it be a cross that raiseth me, still all my song shall be nearer, my God, to thee. Nearer, my God, to thee. Nearer to thee. Though like the wanderer, the sun go down, darkness be over me, my rest a